What's up, NDL? A week into bowl week, and the CFP is definitely a lot farther ahead than I think a lot of people expect it to be. Of course, there's one game that caught our eye, and we're going to talk about that in some detail tonight. But a lot of other games going on, and the G5 teams trying to finish out the season on a good note, and some really interesting games went down. So we're going to talk about, Bama against Buffalo. That was an experience for sure. And then we'll talk about some of the other bowl games that have been played in the G5 land. And pretty much it'll be a quick one as we're waiting for the season to wind down. We'll have more games to talk about next week too. And then as we transition into the draft, our discussions will head that way as well. So first of all, I'd like to introduce my co-host tonight. Just got one, Mr. Vic. How are you, sir?
Sorry about that. I am good. I'm good, y'all. I'm sorry about that delay. Sorry about that. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just posting the link to the live chat. Sorry about that.
I was like, oh no, I know you're getting over being sick. Maybe you had to run off to the bathroom. Like, all right.
No, no, no. I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know if that was the case.
Well, there is one other thing that we were going to chat about too. We don't have to go into great detail, but I actually maybe we wait until we have Doc for that one. But we can talk about the bowl games because that's really the main focus this week and next week as well. And obviously, the one that stands out the most is going to be Buffalo and the CFP. A tough ask, Andy getting that 12 spot. He takes on Bama on the road. And unfortunately, for the most part, it went just about how you would expect it to. Tough sledding for Buffalo. They tried to hang in the first half, but as the game wore on, Bama started to hit some big plays and started to pull away. Um, I don't really know where to start with this one. I think probably the thing that stood out to me the most was late in the first half. There was a stat, like, the breakdown in the corner during in the play call screen. It actually was early third quarter, and I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. To that point in the game, over half, and I believe it was 20. I don't have the number in front of me. I want to say it's 21 pass attempts for Buffalo, and 12 of them had pressures. To that point in the game, Bam was only pressured once. And you could tell, and I could see what Andy was trying to do. It looked like he was trying to get the ball out fast, just hike the ball, find someone open right away, just take the short yards, not trying to hold it and look for big plays like, hey, three here,
Yeah, short, quick
five
game.
here, get to third and short, and we just got to find someone open and convert. It seemed like that was the game plan going in. I definitely am a fan of that instead of trying to wait for chunk plays, especially if you're going to be outmanned in the trenches. You got to get the ball out fast. Rough day for the quarterback, though. So first half, man, he was air mailing some throws. And you could tell that HFA definitely was in between his ears in the first half. But some throws, like, man, a good read, and that ball is just not in the same state. But what is I guess first I'll ask you, what's your biggest takeaway from the game? And in your eyes, was there a turning point where you saw, okay, Bama's going to pull away, and it looks like this is going to be it?
My first takeaway is that I loved Andy's game plan going into it. I love the fact that he had a focused in game plan, and he definitely focused in on it in that first half to try to stay competitive. Quick, short passes, nothing too long, nothing too overly developed, nothing too, gimmicky or anything like that. Just short, straight to the point, slant here, curl here, drag here, out here. Those type of routes is what he ran. It was also a um, graphic that showed he was like 11 for 16, but he was only like 60 yards. That is Bryce Young worthy right there. But um, the home field advantage definitely, definitely. There's no shot at Bryce Young. No shot at Bryce Young. But he did have a game like that, which was the most randomest shit I ever saw. But in this case, it was warranted because it was Buffalo versus Alabama at the end of the day, and he couldn't control the HFA, and the home field definitely got to those players. As soon as he tried to air it out more than 15 yards, the passes were oversailed and just not completed at all. Like it was from as soon as he let it go, you knew that pass wasn't getting completed more than like 6 to 8 yards. So anything over the middle, anything down the sideline, it was pretty much a no go from the jump right there. And you know, he's our outlier for the season. He definitely went into it with a sound game plan, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, it's really interesting because this you're facing in well, Andy is also facing a coach that was in the same position because MC
Yes,
had Old
yes,
Dominion and
yes.
was playing at Georgia. So he knew about HFA and he knew given what talent, D Kane had with that Georgia squad, I had to come in with a game plan that I think is going to be able to move the ball down the field. So I remember in that game, he had a big angle route that broke for 90 yards and he couldn't even score. Like it's crazy to think you get over 90 yards when you're pinned back inside the five and still get ran down anyway. But
That is
being
crazy.
on the flip, yeah, 'cause I remember that play vividly. Like, oh crap, and he got caught. Dang, that
And
sucks.
he got caught. You would want to die for it or something, but nah, he got caught. I remember that.
Yeah, and it's interesting because now you're facing someone who's been in the situation. So you would think that MC probably had an idea of what maybe Andy might have done coming in, and he was able to make some adjustments later in the first half. Yeah, can't really game plan for balls being overthrown or anything like that, but once MC saw like, a lot of these throws are going to be under 10 yards, and you just see guys just condensing down and making it even harder to find someone open. This is making it tough. But I will say the defense was definitely hanging in there early on a lot better than I thought that they would. I didn't know what the path to win this game would be for Buffalo, but defensively, like at the end of the half, like they're doing all they can to try to hang in this game. I think for me, the turning point was Bama getting a stop, a big sack, and then coming out. I believe it was a big sack, and they come out, and you know the run game is going to be scary because you're overmatched in the trenches. Yes, run, and it was to the wrong side and just huge run play. And it's like at that point the wheels just fell off. Back, you're trying to throw the ball deep in one-on-one coverage, and it ends up getting picked off. And it's like from that point on, just the momentum was clearly in Bama's favor, and it was just difficult for Buffalo to find a way to get off the field defensively. Really good effort.
Yeah,
A tough matchup though. Just really, really tough.
definitely a tough matchup. And after a while, even though the defense played inspired, you kind of knew it was only a matter of time. And in that second half, the matter of time came to pass.
Yeah. And it brings me to a conversation that we had last season that you reminded me of, and we were talking about after the last episode. What would it take for a G5 team to beat a P4. And to me, this is just a reminder of what you said. You got to find a way to get out of the 12 spot because facing a number five team is likely going to be I mean, you're already going to face a great coach anyway and a good team too. But the five spot is a really tough ask to find a way to get a win again because it's likely, given the history, it's likely going to be a really good Big Ten team or a really good SEC team with a great HFA, and then you're going to have to figure out how to deal with the trenches. You know, Roke's playing good, and I know what everyone's seeding is, but just say, if you had matched up against Mississippi State instead of Bama, Roke's had, he had he had a great run, but you just from a player perspective in terms of the talent on the field, you feel like going in, you feel a little more comfortable than you do going against a Bama or, possibly like an Oregon or a Penn State, someone that just is able to physically dominate you in the trenches and kind of dictate where you have to move the ball in order to have success.
Yeah, I go a step further. I would say you would possibly have to be that eight, that seven or eight seed, and possibly have the home game yourself. That's probably what it's going to have to take because if we follow the trend of the last couple seasons and have almost half the field SEC teams, then any one of those bottom 4 or 5 spots, you're probably going to face an SEC team because, like, look at Clemson at 9. They faced the SEC team. Um, Arkansas as a SEC team had to, play, another top opponent, and it's you're more than likely going to face an SEC team. So to get one of those top 8 spots and have a home game for yourself, now that's going to be hard. It's going to take someone that has a good G5 team overall, and it's going to have to have them take a risk in out of conference as well, like schedule certain opponents that end up doing very well at the end of the season. Say uh, you take a Arizona State team. I'm just spitballing here, but say you're Memphis, or say you're South Florida, or Boise, or someone like that, or James Madison, or somebody like that, and you face Virginia Tech if you're James Madison, and you beat Virginia Tech, and then you play Kentucky, and then you beat Kentucky, and then Kentucky goes 7-5, 8-4, and Virginia Tech goes 8-4, 9-3, something to that ilk. And then on top of that, don't have your conference schedule be weak. So you have to have a solid conference schedule and definitely a top notch or very solid non conference schedule to possibly get above the 12 seed. And definitely would have to have great in conference and out of conference schedule to get a home game.
It'll be interesting to see. Like, I really truly believe at some point we're going to see a G5 team score that upset. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it eventually will happen. It's just, man, the so far the closest that we've had has been MC against Georgia. and we've been kind of sliding backwards from there. So we'll see what happens
Yeah,
next season. It's no knock on Andy or Buffalo at all. One hell of a season in that first half. Like they played as well as they could play. It's just when the dam broke in the third quarter, it just felt like there's just what could you do at that point? You're just trying to hang in there, and things just were not like they just weren't going well. Just needed something to shift the momentum back, and they just couldn't find that play.
true, true, definitely, definitely.
So that's definitely we had eyes on that. I know a lot of people did because it was a CFP game, but there were some other bowl games that got played too, and some that had some interesting finishes. So I'll let you start with yours because of course, I don't want to say anything bad about my former schools, so I'll let you say it for me so you can describe what happened in the game.
Well, the game that I broke down here is the Hawaii Bowl between UTEP and San Diego State, aka I'm not gonna say nothing bad about them. The score was 45-42. In a game that was back and forth, especially in that first half, both running backs were the stars of the game. Like between both rushing totals, UTEP total 192, San Diego State total 185. Um, but both running games were definitely on point. UTEP stretched the lead to 45-28 with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And then Coach Big Z, scored, got his extra point blocked, came back with about 2 minutes left, scored again, got the two to make it 45-42. Um, and then kicked it off deep. He only had two timeouts. I guess he was trusting his defense or thinking that he was going to get a turnover, but that did not happen. And the end result is 45-42. Um, Emery, the running back for UTEP, had 138 and a score, and I believe he had a score through the air as well. Malachi Nelson had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Running back for San Diego State, I'm missing his name, and the stats are not in here as far as player stats. So
Gotcha.
can't go back to that. So, but he also had about 140 at least, couple QB runs there to get one of the scores to get back in the game. Just an overall good back and forth game. Watching it through and through, it was a couple turnovers, couple key point turnovers. It was a user alert turnover by UTEP that really stretched the lead out in the second half. And it was a fumble to regain the lead in the first half by UTEP that really were the differences turnover wise.
Yeah, turnovers will get you
But
in trouble in a hurry for sure.
overall, good back and forth game. Like I said, Big Z tried to come back in the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late. And UTEP wins by 3. They do have 10 wins on the season. They are 10-3, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go back to it here.
Oh, I'll save you the trouble.
Yeah, they
They are.
are 10-3. 10-3 overall on this season. So good job by my guy, Mr. Omaha X Cross. Um, hopefully he'll get a good draft pick. We talked a little bit last night, and he was debating on whether he should take a middling or mid power four team and have some of the same defensive struggles that he had with UTEP, or go back and get a high power G5 and try to run it back in the G5. But I let him know like only we'll see, and the we'll see part is just your draft position and what number you're picking.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the draft, next week's episode, and um, going towards Valentine's Day as well. But we still have a ways to go before the draft. But man, really impressive because you were on him from the very beginning. That was your pick in Conference USA,
It
and
was.
he in his first season in the NDL, uh, you couldn't ask for anything more. I know he was disappointed with the way that he lost some of the games. I've had a chance to talk to him a little bit this morning. Just like whenever you lose a game, you know how it is. You always like, man, this play or that play, if I had changed this or if I did this differently, it happens. But for his first season in the NDL and coming into a mid-major, probably a team that he's never even looked at before, great run. Great run is going to turn into a solid pick. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what he does in his next season. So kudos to him. And also, of course, kudos to Big Z. Last season was a little bit rough for him. It seemed like he navigated this season a lot better. SDSU was in the running for the Mountain West, that second spot, but losing to Boise ended up pushing him out of it, but still, able to fight back, just not able to get all the way back in the bowl game after falling behind, but still a really solid season. And we'll see what he does next season. I'm sure he'll still be there.
Yeah, he'll still be there. The next game is the game that you want to break down, and that game is.
Oh man, that is East Carolina and Louisville. That was a very interesting game. So if I remember right, we were talking about Mr. Brown and how do you stop Brown? Well, you know how you don't.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to worry about him if you keep putting up points, right? Because at some point it's gonna. I don't know. Maybe when you're constantly scoring, you feel the need, when you're in those type of shootouts to want to pass the ball too. And I mean, Brown still had a really good game. Let's well, it's he still ran for over 150 yards. He had three touchdowns. One of them, a play that I didn't even know existed. I've seen the direct snap out of a couple of different formations, but they're usually
Hmm.
spread. I haven't seen one for me, just in my viewing, with the tight end still lined up, right off the shoulder of the tackle. And man, you want to talk about wide open. Just this not even a truck lane. He just the parting of the Red Seas and just running. Once he hit the edge, that was it. And it was a really back and forth game. Louisville scored first, or sorry, East Carolina scored first. And it had been like that up until 21-21 at the half winding down, both Louisville answering. And then you had a really weird play. Kicking the ball off, the kick returner, it went over his head. And I know what what Pirate Flag was thinking. It was like, hey, let me go get the ball because I don't want him to recover it in the end zone for a touchdown. Well, what ended up happening was he went and recovered it in the end zone and got tackled, and it was a safety. So now he's down 23-21, and then Louisville's able to get a field goal to make it 26-21 going into the half. And then the second half was just back and forth. And I feel so bad for Louisville on how they lost this game because if you have been able to check in on Louisville, I know we're talking about the G5, but if you've been able to check in on Louisville, some of their losses have been brutal because their biggest problem has been stopping the deep ball. So they're up two, break a big play, get tackled, take it to the 2-minute warning, and you're just like, hey, if we can just run out the clock, we get the dub, get held to a field goal. So now East Carolina's getting the ball back down five. It is third and 33. comes out in prevent defense. East Carolina comes out in quads, and I the guy just got wide open. A gain of 47 yards breaking across, from right to left. And it looked like he had a guy that was close by. A quarterback is stepping, like running up and like just chucks it down the field and he's just wide open. 47-yard gain. And then I don't even know. Like we talked about it before the pod. Trips to the boundaries, which Pat will be so mad to hear, but it works because a very deep out route, 30 yards for a touchdown, and that ends up being the go ahead score in the game. So he didn't really necessarily like Brown didn't like go off because I was thinking if you could hold him under 200 yards, I think that you would be okay and just hope in the fourth quarter he's worn down, so it's a little easier to tackle him. But man, no, kudos to East Carolina for not giving in because they did have to get a stop to get the ball back, and to convert 3rd and 33 is crazy. But man, gotta feel for Louisville in that situation. That is the second time that I've seen him give up a third down of over 30 yards this season. That has to hurt, especially with this being at the end of the game. It's a brutal way to lose. But
That is a brutal way to lose, on the out route right there. That's a hard way. That's a heartbreaking fashion to lose. Thought you had the game in hand, but then unbelievable play call to end the game and to get upset basically because I know a lot of people had Louisville winning that matchup, especially with Isaac Brown coming on late, Heisman, Doak, all types of player awards for him. Coach Swove was definitely campaigning, on the inside, definitely campaigning to get his guy some of those awards. And I believe he did get the Doak Walker Award, but um, just devastating way to end it. Just devastating way to end it. But a big win, big win for East Carolina. Definitely shutting some of the doubters down that had doubts about them going into the CFP possibly. This is also a springboard into next season for them, for a team you can keep a eye on throughout the whole season, kind of like how we did from Brady from last season to this season, even though it didn't work out too well for him. Pirate Flag and East Carolina are definitely a team to watch out for to possibly get that CFP spot next season.
yeah, very impressive win. It was my first thought after like just watching the way the game ended the last 2.5 minutes. My first thought after that was, man, if you were because we talked about it last episode. East Carolina was that other team that was in the mix, and this was their way of saying, hey, yeah, we're not playing in the CFP, but we know we were close, and we showed that we definitely belong with the big boys. That we can compete. I don't want to say belong. I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want someone coming at me like, hey, you're saying that they can compete with Oregon or Florida. I'm just saying that they showed, hey, we didn't make it.
They showed
It
they
is
had the heart.
disappointing.
They
Yeah.
showed they had the heart. They showed they had the heart. Hopefully, someone schedule them that's towards the 20s in the preseason poll, or somebody that's trying to be ranked themselves. That's a quality opponent for him next season, so he can go ahead and get another quality opponent out the way as well to build that strong case, as we said, to potentially be get out that 12 seed.
Yeah. We'll have to see what else happens in terms of coach movement in the American, but very impressive season for East Carolina. And I'm excited to see what they're gonna do next year or next season.
Same, same.
And then one other game, we're gonna just kind of just fast forward to the end because that's where the game got really exciting. ECU and James Madison playing in a snow game. So I thought that was cool because playing in the snow. Obviously, both coaches had to agree to that. Good stuff there. But James Madison, again, Sun Belt team playing against a team from the Big 12, trying to compete. And third and goal, down 7 with 11 seconds to go. Kind of scary in that situation because you know you're probably going to have 7 or 8 dropping back, but able to find, was he able to find someone open, the comeback route on the left for a touchdown? And then he makes the decision to go for two. So Ellis catching that touchdown pass, and then he went for two. And it was a really interesting play call. We were talking about that pre-pod. He comes out and with two receivers, but having them more compressed instead of spread out. So everyone's kind of coming to the middle of the field. You got a tight end on the right, and you've got two backs in the backfield. And the play call ends up being an out route with the receiver on the left. But then you have a double angle route with the backs and a drag route too. There's a lot of almost instant pressure. The guy just kind of walked in the defensive end and blew it up. But we were talking about it, it's like, man, there's a lot. It's hard. Like really, the defensive end just walked in. The left tackle stepped out instead of stepping up, and he just came in, but with no running back. He's just a free shot at the quarterback. But even so, watching the play, it's a really tough one because it didn't look like there was enough separation with that defense. Everyone's kind of compressed to the middle of the field. The receivers are inside. What did you think of that play call?
It was a lot going on once you described me the play, as you just did again to our audience there. It's a lot of moving parts. With a 2 point play like that, you can't have a lot of moving parts. You have to make a quick decision. Like you have to focus on one side of the field. Yeah, I know that's not traditional. And oh, you guys are scanning the whole field. This is a 2 point play. This is condensed. This is still a video game at the end of the day. People are most likely going to pressure you in that spot because if they can pressure you, you're gonna get that ball out quicker than you want. It's gonna more than likely fall incomplete, which in turn favors the other opponent. So if you're picking in play, you don't need too many moving parts at the goal line or in a 2 point play situation. You need to focus on one part of the field, focus on the combination if you have a combination route, or if you just have one singular or two singular routes. You may need the hot route to get them open, you may not, but do what you need to do to go ahead and get that receiver or that running back or that tight end open. And unfortunately, he didn't do that, and unfortunately, that did cost him the game.
Yeah, it's a great drive. I really liked the play before because you still had, you had 5 guys going out, but in the difference, at least to me, was you had 5 guys attacking different areas of the field. Yeah, you still need to get time to get the ball out, but it just felt like you're not looking at an area, you're looking at the actual receiver. So the comeback route was open because of the off coverage. And then if he's not open, then you just slide to the right to the post route, or maybe you have the angle route, maybe that's the primary route, and you're working backwards from there. Just with the
Yeah,
double angle
yeah,
route, it's like they're both running to the same area,
area,
and
yeah,
watching the game, he was controlling the linebacker in the middle, so it makes it harder to complete that pass. Like, was that to try to pull, you know, it's hard to say because
Probably that
I'm not the
probably
one
was
that
trying
called
to
it, but it's
probably was trying to bait the linebacker or linebackers inside and force them inside to play the running back so he could possibly have a one-on-one matchup on the outside.
yeah, it's an interesting call looking at the like just it's tough because everything's condensed down inside the 5 yard line. But
Yeah.
man, he just couldn't.
Like
eh,
like and like you said, great play call the play call before. All those moving parts did well on the play call before. It's just when you're that tight running a similar play call with a lot of moving pieces, not saying he ran the same play, but just a lot of moving pieces again on the next play when you're more in a condensed area than you were the play before, it's not going to work in your favor every time.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he didn't get the onside kick, so he ends up losing by one. Oh man, two tough losses to end the season. The decision to go for two and say I don't want to play in overtime, and 50-50 play. We've had this conversation in live chat earlier in the week. About going for 2 point conversions. Just close, but just wasn't able to convert. And then in the Sun Belt Championship game, he loses 24-7. So second season in a row, he's a runner-up in the Sun Belt. Man, this would be nice to see if Glizzy would be able to get over the hump next season and get that conference championship.
He has a chance to next season. He definitely has a chance next season. I've been hearing rumors he may stay and give it another crack at it. So if he does stay, it definitely increases his chances to finally get that conference championship.
Yeah, because he clearly knows his team very well. And it showed over the course of this season, last season too. But I feel like this season it just stood out more. It looked like he was in more, I'd say, more in control watching him play this season versus last season. And we'll have to see how it looks next season for sure. But speaking of the Sun Belt, there's some other games that got played too. One that we definitely took note of: App State hosting Air Force, and man, I wasn't expecting the score to be that. But
Me
App State
either.
did
Me either.
exactly what we kind of expect them to do in their games going into the season. They ran the ball and they ran it well. 235 yards on the ground, 23 first downs. That is
That's
that's pretty impressive.
that's a difference. That's a difference.
Clean
That
football.
is definitely a difference. Yeah. Oh yeah.
No turnovers,
Oh
7 to 10 on third down, and as you could probably imagine if you're listening, some of those third downs were short because of how well the run game was going. So App State, they had some struggles this season, but they finished strong. They get the win, and now we'll have to see if Brady's going to come back and decide to run it back.
yeah. We're definitely gonna have to see that. That's a interesting sidebar for the off season. Will he come back to App State or will he test his luck in the Power Four?
And interesting enough, I say that, you say that. I am scrolling through because I feel like I saw him mention something. I'm pretty sure I saw that he was going to enter the draft. Let me let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that I could have swore I saw something about him entering the draft. Could be lying. Maybe I am because I don't see anything. Man, I don't know what's going on with me. I can't. I don't.
No,
I
nothing official
really
yet.
feel like
Nothing
I
official
saw
yet.
him losing my
He may
mind.
he may have said something in live chat or he may have spoke it, but he hasn't officially announced it yet.
Fair enough. Thank you. Thank you for having my back. There was another Sun Belt game as well. Oh, before I get to the Sun Belt, let's jump back and let's talk about Air Force for a second. Man, it's tough to go out like that. I know that can't feel good in a bowl game. You're like, hey, we just want to end the season strong. At least, be competitive. And it was rough. You're down 24-7 at the half, and it didn't seem to get better for the offense. But Dubs still, you know, finished the season 6-7 overall, 4-4 in conference play. Really solid season with a team that's difficult to play with, given we know the limitations or the play style, the way that Air Force and the military academies are built. For him to get 6 wins is still very impressive.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. With Air Force, he was a high pick though. I don't. I would say it was definitely a successful season because anytime you take one of the military academies and go to a bowl game, qualify for a bowl, that is successful in this game. Um, he definitely did have a high pick though. I believe he was top 20 and picked him, and he did pick them as a sentimental value, which is always good. And he did a good job with them. He did the best that he could with them. Got to a bowl game and got as far as he could, with that team. Not knowing, too much about the team itself and, running the triple option and stuff like that, but he did his best that he could.
Yeah, I mean,
Hopefully he go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say he with the rough start too, because he started 1-4, but then he had a
He
couple
did
of games that were like you could see a close
the
loss to
turnaround.
Boise,
Yeah,
a close loss
yeah,
to Hawaii, and then he lost by another one-score loss to UNLV. But you could see him starting to put it together, and the second half of the season looked very different than the first half.
definitely, definitely did. Definitely did. Another game that um had some connection issues actually. They got bit by the connection bug, so they couldn't really properly get the game fully finished, but they got as finished as they could, and that is Fresno and Central Michigan. Fresno came out with the win 34-14. Luke had about 150. Um, but the connection issues did away with the Chippewas, and other than Luke tearing it up as per usual, nothing much else to say about this game.
Yeah, man,
Wish they didn't have the connection issues. That's the main part. Just wish they didn't have connection issues.
yeah, you beat me to it. It's so tough when you have games like that because you're one if you're worried that it's going to keep happening. So it can kind of distract you from it's just a concern of man, if I just drop connection, what's it going to be like? Can I make it another 30 minutes? Can I make it another 10 minutes to be able to finish? And it just messes up the rhythm of both teams and both coaches. And you hate to see it, is especially in a matchup that we were really looking forward to seeing. Central Michigan was right there, you know, one drive away from potentially being in the CFP, and Fresno State wasn't far off either. I mean, they were in the mix when we got down to the end of the season for getting that spot as well. So really one of the showcase games in the G5 for the bowl week, and you just wish that we could have had a nice smooth game and see what happens. But regardless, I know Chip is going to be disappointed with the end of the season, but double digit wins with Central Michigan. What can you say? This guy just He's mastered that school. And with Fresno, great run game all season, great season by Tutty. And then the question is, what's next?
Well, what's next for Tutty is definitely power four. He's definitely looking into power four. Um, Possibly SEC ties, possibly. But with Chip will be back. Oh, no, we're not gonna count out Chip. What we don't do here on the Outliers is count out Chip at all. So we know he'll be back next season with those Chippewas, those fighting chips. Him, his rap skills, his national anthem, all of it. They'll be back next season.
Oh, man, we'll be looking forward to seeing it for sure. Um,
A couple of the other games to just skim through. Some of the other games I was out sick this week, so I wasn't able to catch a lot of these games, but just want to get these coaches shout outs with their previously played games. Troy and Ohio, it was 24-14. Duvid with 9 wins on the season. Congrats to him. Akron beat Texas State 31-24. Akron has 8 wins on the season. I believe Akron has back to back 8 win seasons with two different coaches.
yep, I believe Duvid had Akron last season,
I believe he did.
and this is pretty
Either
cool
him
because
or Nadog. Either him or Nadog at Akron, I believe.
I'm almost positive it's Duvid. And I was gonna say for CJG, really cool because last season he came, or not last season, he was here for the first season when we came back, and he had Mississippi State, and he was 5-2 with them. So for him to come back and
Oh, me and him have a great connection then on all levels. That is crazy. I did not know that's who that was. Oh wow. We have 6 degrees of separation here. No, because you just said it. He came back in 29, right? He was
NTX corrected me
Mississippi.
by the way. NTX
What he
Akron was an A dog, so you're right. Duvid had Stanford
Yeah,
last season, so then Duvid had him the
yeah.
season before. So maybe Akron is the one of the good spots here.
The sweet spot in the MAC right there. Get your 8 games. Um But no, you said he coached Mississippi State in season 29, right?
Yeah, and then this is his first
But then
season back.
but then he left in 29, right?
Yeah, mid-season.
Who replaced him in 29? I did.
Ah, so he. So what you're saying was he was a stepping stone to your greatness in the NBL.
Oh no, 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 no. No, no, no. Without him, there's no me.
Fair enough.
Without him, there's no me. And then he came back and here he is and we're in a online dynasty together and he chose the school I had just left from, which is my alma mater, which is Louisiana Tech. So
Huh,
just a
marvelous.
lot of connections between us. There's a lot of connection right there.
That's good
So
stuff.
shout out to him for sure. Speaking of Nate Dogg, he did get a win with Illinois, 31-14 over UConn. Dave with another solid season there.
Yeah,
Louisiana defeated Toledo 24-10. Your guy, Iraq, with the win over K Dot, 42-21.
I have to ask you, did you
And
see
of
the
course,
screenshot of the interception? in the live chat?
No, no, I didn't.
So I'm gonna
I
need you to
didn't get
go
to
in the
see it.
live chat. Go into the
Oh
live
no, I'm
chat
not
right
doing that
now.
much scrolling. I'm not doing that much scrolling.
It's
I'm not
not
going.
that far up. It's at
Okay.
4:30. It's at 4:30. Just look at the
All right.
screenshot and you'll see the pictures and you'll probably have the same reaction that most people did when they saw it.
4:30.
Well,
Your
4:30
time.
my
Four
time.
thirty.
Yeah, 4:30 my time. So,
Oh my God. I see it. Football head.
we got the
Hey
Hey
Arnold.
Arnold. Yep. Well, that's how you get an interception. Legitimately just hits you in the helmet and it's an interception. You can't
Got
make
that
this stuff
David
up.
Tyree going.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
I love how we went right into Hey Arnold as soon as I said that.
Yep.
Hey, football head.
Yeah, unfortunately too, and
Oh
yeah,
man.
brought that up. I talked to David some, a bit off stream or off stream, off, well, whatever, stream and just into DMs and stuff, and he told me about that. So hopefully Nadog will be able to come back soon, but it will be his last NDL game for at least the foreseeable future. So a good finish to this season for him.
Man. Shout out to Nadog. Definitely shout out to Nadog. Hopefully he comes back next version of the game. Um, he definitely was a great player. I love playing him. Love playing him. Any other scores you want to get out there?
Um, are you insinuating insinuating something?
No, 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 no. I just had a couple more scores to run down before we run down uh two more. We'll run down two more and put a little bit in depth into it. But um Louisiana Monroe, Coach D Nazi, scored a huge victory, bowl victory over Drew Baca. So proud of Drew. So proud. 38-27. The Warhawks with the 8-win season. I believe is that back-to-back winning seasons for them as well? Or
Well, I'll let you
maybe
look
that's
that
just
up because it's loading for me. But gotta say, for D Nazi's first season, impressed. I got to watch about half of his games this year, and man, he is he's he's a really solid coach. I liked his game plan on offense, the style that he plays, and defensively. He is he is definitely trying to get you thinking, and usually thinking means you're holding the ball when bad things happen. As he definitely scored a huge win at the end of the season in the rivalry game that took away a three-way tie in the division. He had a really good season. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does outside of the G5. I'm guessing that he's looking at maybe pushing up to the P4. So we'll see what he does, but definitely a really solid member of the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt just as a whole, a really good group of guys this season.
and we're definitely going to talk about this game here. Um, as last season, Coach Jokers in Memphis faced one of the outliers, me, in a bowl game, and the result was the result. This season, he faces another one of the outliers, you. And the score was 35-23 Western Kentucky. There's a play that I want you to explain to the audience. That was, I know we try to be PG with our pods, but it was straight bullshit that you ran. Hella bullshit. So I want you to explain to the audience what happened.
Well, first let me explain that I had someone yelling in my headset. It wasn't Vic. But one of my friends was talking
No,
to me
no,
over
so
in Discord before the game, and he just was staying on talking while he was lurking in the stream. And when he saw what happened, he legitimately was yelling at me. So it made it a little harder to concentrate on the rest of that drive. So I know what you're referring to. So with about 45 seconds left in the first half, I'm down three, and I broke a run, and it would have been a touchdown, but I ran out of bounds. And that's when the yelling started. And my thought process was because someone said, I think David was the one that said it in chat, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want to give him the ball. So I'm trying to eat up more clock, and I hope I can score on third down, score a touchdown on third down. Because just in my head, if you're giving someone the ball with 40 seconds and three timeouts, that's an eternity in this game.
oh, that's a death wish. That is a death wish.
Like knowing I get the ball at the half, just make sure that you're, unless you give up a kick return, make sure you're the last one with the ball reasonably. So I believe it was third down. We get down to the 1 yard line, call a timeout with a second left. And you said, like, I'm sure most people thought watching that I was just going to kick the field goal. But I came out and I passed. And me and Jokers talked about this play because I wanted to ask him what he ran because I feel like what I saw wasn't what I thought it was. But I'll have to go back and listen to what I said. But I'm pretty sure I said like I was scared of him run committing because when he did, he was blowing us up. So like I'm gonna come out and pass, but I have to come out in a formation where the receiver is spread wide. So if he does run commit, there's no help. And it was a slant. Smart play by Jokers because he takes the linebacker and he moves him over towards the receiver. So he blitzed the corner, which I wasn't expecting. But when I saw the defensive line get in super fast, like it was going to be a three-step drop, the ball was coming out. As soon as I saw the line come in, it's just throw to the receiver. And the defender was right there. And I just did not care because as I told Jokers, I didn't think he would put his hands up to knock the ball down. Dead to rights, it should have been stopped. It ends up being a touchdown, and that probably was the swing of momentum in that game. Really shouldn't have got any points on that drive, which would have been, I would have been deserving after not taking a touchdown. And then you get it at the very end, so you don't give up the ball. You take the ball to start the second half and get a touchdown. So that's like a huge momentum swing. Probably will never do that again. But let's be honest, I don't trust my
Let's not
defense.
do that.
I don't trust my
Let's not
defense,
do that
but
again.
I
Let's
had
let's
I
not do
thrown
that
an
again.
interception, I probably would have hated myself more than the guy yelling at me on
You
the
would
headset.
have. You
So
would have, sir. You would have. And let that would have been me. Oh, that's pick six. Not only is that an interception, that's a pick six. I know my luck.
you're not wrong. I'm
I
not
know
as
how much
I,
I know how much I'm not trying that.
I can't even argue with you. Next next time I'll just have to have some faith in the defense. But hey, it worked. That's all I can say.
Last game on the docket that we want to talk about is uh the my favorite bowl for one. My favorite bowl. Um and I just read something that was crazy. Um and we may talk about it right after this game.
Okay.
Um, that is South Florida and Arizona State in the Independence Bowl, which is my personal favorite game. Why do I keep saying that? Because that game is played in my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana, and in real life. And but it was played in good old Tampa, Florida, in the NDL. And Jordan
Yep.
came out with the win, 45-42, back and forth game. It was 28-24 at the half, and then 31-28 at the end of the third. and then that difference in the third was the difference in the game, and it being 45-42 because they both scored 14 in the fourth, but that difference in that third quarter by Jordan is what settled it. Both offenses totaled over 500 yards. Balanced attack for South Florida, 254 on the ground, 246 passing. Um, Kick returns was a fool by Arizona State that had 217. I'm pretty sure one of those was for a score. But pretty even game. What do you expect from Coach Jordan for the next season?
I Good question. I kind of hope he goes in the draft. I am trying my best not to pay attention to the decision day thread until we get closer to the
I
coaching scores
believe
being
he,
released. But
I believe he did already make his decision.
yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a solid coach. Right? He's shown that already. Um, what he was able to do this season. I look at that game against Vegas, and I think that was an eye opener maybe to some around the league that haven't been able to really catch one of his games since he's only been in the G5. But to show, hey, I can I can compete with these big guys. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next season. Back to back winning seasons, back to back bowl wins, I believe, too. Sky's the limit for my fellow Buckeye.
Yeah. Guy is a winner. He is a winner. And I believe he is eyeing a team out on the West Coast. He said it in his decision day post. So will he return? We will see. He hadn't made an official decision yet, but we shall see.
Yeah, because entering the draft doesn't mean that you're not coming back. It just means that you're, just taking some feelers around the nation, seeing what's out there.
Um, I know you may want to end it on one other question that's related to tomorrow. But I want to bring up something real quick that
Okay.
I just seen that involves real life that we've discussed it in the live chat, but we haven't really discussed it on one of the pods. But what I just saw come across my phone was um, ex UCLA star Amari Bailey. He played at UCLA, I believe, 2 or 3 seasons ago. He is attempting to come back to college basketball as we see some of these other players, as you've been seeing.
Uh,
You guys been seeing in the news. Some people sign, from overseas or didn't sign NBA contracts but got drafted, but going back to college. Not only did he sign a NBA contract, he did play minutes, and he is attempting to come back to college basketball to return to play college after playing in the NBA. How do you feel about that?
I'm
That's what I
trying.
was saying during the Arizona State USF. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I just saw that. That's what I just saw. He, for a little bit more context, he played 10 games for the Hornets a couple seasons ago, 23-24, and he has hired an agent and a lawyer to possibly fight the NCAA for eligibility.
This is so this is so dumb. Like, I don't. I know Izzo when it happened the first time was very outspoken. against it. The hilarious thing is hearing Rick Pitino, or sorry, not Rick Pitino, but wrong Kentucky
Coach Cal.
coach.
Coach Cal. No, Coach Cal been adamant on that though
Yeah, because
since
I
before the
watched because
season.
he had an interview about it recently and was
He had
very
one before the
outspoken
season
against it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he had
like
said
listening to him
some
talk
of the
about
same
it, it's
stuff.
kind of funny because like he's probably the wrong person to advocate against it, if we're being honest. But
He didn't have bad ideas though. Like I wouldn't say he's the wrong person because he really didn't have bad ideas.
well, I'm not saying in terms of the ideas, but in terms of the guys that he recruits. Like you're recruiting one and dones, and you're talking about developing players over multiple years. Like, maybe we should talk to a coach that is recruiting fewer one and dones and actually doing that.
But he has started recruiting less one and done stuff. He actually did. That's what I'm saying. Like Coach Cal is one of those ones that is still tapped into the NBA. Like tapped in. His guy, he got a guy on the inside with the Knicks that's like a high level executive with the Knicks that has always been his guy. And so he kind of always been kind of tapped in with the NBA through that gentleman. And if you really just pay attention to him, he has really stopped recruiting one and done. Like his Arkansas team is a team of recruits that he recruited, but they're not one and done. He may got one freshman and that's it, but he really stopped recruiting one and dones. His last like one and dones were really Dillingham and Reed Shepard when he was last at Kentucky, and that's like 2 3 years ago now.
Too. Eh, that's not the guy that I want to hear it from. But I do agree with him. It's
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I
just
know
weird to
I see
say
your
that
point though. No, I
you're
see your
going
point.
pro and then
I,
you're
I see your
not
point.
going pro and coming back. Like I don't know what's going to
I
happen with
don't.
that, but I just
I don't.
think it's terrible. I think it's bad
In
for college
certain
basketball.
it's in certain cases I get it, but my thing is, you know what now? Because you could be led down a path that, this kid could have been led down a path of, oh yeah, you're gonna get drafted first round, and then he never did, and he got lied to or something like that, and he probably looking at his life like, hey, I could have been riding high. I could have been a junior or senior in college right now, but I'm over here struggling.
Yeah, but it'd be one thing. I mean, to me, it'd be like being in the NFL and whether you're drafted or undrafted and being on a practice squad and practicing with the team and then mid-season dropping back into college football. Like just, I don't know how that would
Yeah,
work, but like just
yeah.
mid-season, like I'm gonna go sign with, go back to enroll in Nebraska and mid-season join the team. Like, wait, huh? Like I could
I don't even think you
somewhat
can do that in the
even
NFL.
I could somewhat
I don't think you can even do
understand
it.
if you went undrafted altogether and then come back, but it's weird to go to the G League and have a contract and be playing and practicing and then come back. Like, it's
Well, this guy
and this
actually
guy
played
actually played in
NBA
the
games
NBA games. Yeah,
in the NBA. Yeah, he played
because the first one I think
NBA
was a
games.
G leaguer with I remember Izzo talking about that one very
He's
adamantly.
currently He's currently 21. He came out after his freshman year.
Oh man,
So technically, if he didn't never come out, he still would be perfectly eligible.
bad advice.
Bad advice.
But it's gonna open. It's gonna be a situation to watch because it could open up a very awkward
But
Pandora's
I, I,
box.
I don't think you can do it. Um, I don't think you can do it in football though.
You can't. I was just making the analogy though. Like it would
Yeah,
be.
I
It's like
think
a
it
similar
was.
situation. Like, wait, how are you practicing and playing with, you know, in a league above ours, and then you're able to leave in the middle of it and come back?
I think the closest thing that could have happened was, I think his last name was Walker or something like that. He got drafted DN for Cincinnati. He came out of Texas A&M. He didn't sign his contract at first, and he was threatening to go back and work out with Texas A&M and then go back in the draft, but he wouldn't been able to play any games though.
Sure. Uh, yeah, when I
But he
was
got
hearing
signed,
about it
so it was
earlier, it was I didn't know that it I didn't know how far it had got with what you told me, but I had heard rumblings about it earlier today. Like, hmm, interesting. So yeah. Oh, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
yeah. So NCAA gonna possibly be in court and see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, you know a question I have for you.
Oh yeah,
So
it's that time again already.
I don't even have to ask you. I don't even have
You
to ask
don't?
you. I just need you
No.
to give me I need you to give me the name. That's all.
Well, I give you four sets of. I give you two different predictions on both sides,
Okay.
and with two different categories. I feel like and it's lazy. The winners are going to be lazy because anybody can win.
Yeah.
But I feel like the women's Royal Rumble winner is going to be Bianca Belair, and the men's is going to be Roman Reigns. I feel like the Iron Woman of the match, the person who lasts the longest, is Sol Ruka for the women, and Carmelo Hayes for the men.
Hmm. I like that. Well, then let me add a question.
Who
Okay.
you got? Oh hell no. Who you got?
Well, I'll
You
give
ain't
you
got to do
that
the
too.
iron.
Well, on the women's side, I have Bianca, since we were already talking about pre-pod about Jade just being a champ with a belt, not doing anything with it. At least if Bianca
Yeah, I
wins,
think they.
I think that's what you get potentially at WrestleMania. So I could
You
see
got to
that.
get that. You got to pay that off. Yeah, you got to pay that
And
off.
with the whole, former tag team partners, the stuff with Naomi, I think that's potentially a fun
That's a
story
story that
going into
writes
Mania.
itself. Yeah, that's a story that writes itself.
And then you know who I got on the men's side. I refuse to give up on him. So I'm gonna pick him. I know he's not gonna win because I already told you that, but I'm gonna pick him and I'm gonna cross
Yeah,
my fingers.
he might. He
Give
might.
me
He
an
might win.
give
He
me
might.
an LA Knight win. Don't even care which champ he challenges. Give me an LA Knight win. Give this man the
Okay, he
push.
going. So when he challenged for the IC title,
No,
that's
you know what I'm talking about. I don't care which if he faces Drew or if he faces Punk. Give me LA Knight though. I would
So
think it would be
when
pretty
he goes
cool
to NXT,
if
when he,
AJ won.
if AJ won,
If AJ won, like,
how
how would you
about that?
feel about AJ being in the Royal Rumble, but he still loses to Goodwin?
We gonna have to talk about that outside of the
What
pod.
if, what if, what if,
We gonna have to talk about that outside of the pod. We
yeah,
gonna have to talk about that outside the pod.
just being creative.
Not giving any. No.
All right. Well, my
Oh
last
no!
my last
Oh
question
no!
was, assuming there are no surprise entrants, and you know why I'm saying that, okay? So assuming there's no surprise entrants and it's only
Yeah.
people that are on the roster, who are you excited to see participate in their first Royal Rumble? Most excited. I'll give you my answer first
First,
because I've already thought about it. The women's match, I'm a big
uh,
I'm a big fan of Blake Monroe. I really enjoyed her work as Mariah
oh,
May
yeah,
in AEW,
I
so
love her.
she
I
is
love
my favorite wrestler in NXT, and I'm looking forward to
So mad I
seeing
didn't
her
get to
there.
see her live.
You should.
So mad I didn't get to see her live. She was
Um,
already gone. She was already gone.
yeah,
She was
that
gone by
the
all
Hollywood
in.
ending match to me
Ending.
still
Oh,
is the best storyline
that
that
was the best
AEW has
match.
had yet.
Nah, that was the best match of the year. That was match of the year last
That was
year.
great.
That was match
So
of the year.
I'm looking forward to it. As soon as her theme hits, I'll have a nice smirk on my face as everyone is probably going to be looking like, who the hell is that? And I'll get pumped
I'm
up.
a
The men's
on the
side,
live. If we in the live chat gonna be buzzing by her. Oh,
yep. Um,
um,
I'm gonna agree with NTX for the men's side. Um,
I don't even know any
the
first time
the
women other than her
ruler of
though.
NXT, I was about to say of NTX. He's like, hey,
Oh yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
ruler of
yeah, yeah. Oh
NTX.
yeah, that's
But
automatic.
when
That's
his
automatic.
theme hits, we're like, oh yeah,
That's
this is
automatic.
about to pick
Yeah.
up. So those would be the two
Oh yeah.
guys that I'm looking forward to, or the two wrestlers, guys, the two wrestlers I'm looking forward to see participate in the Royal Rumble first time.
I don't even know any more first timers other than Blake, to be honest with you. And then yeah, Oba all day long.
I'm trying to think who else would be first in women. Um,
It's not many. It's not many.
Jada Parker.
Unless they gonna pull. She was in it last year.
Ah, okay. She's probably going to eliminate Blake. That's going to like build up that storyline, but whatever. I'll still enjoy it while it lasts.
No, it ain't. Yeah, it ain't too many unless they gonna pull somebody from TNA. It's not too many.
Yeah. And I worded
Yeah,
that
because they
question
kind
very
of
specifically, NTX. I have avoided the
they.
dirt sheets and I had to weasel somebody, like full on weasel somebody on Discord for trying to send me articles on dirt sheets, not in the NDL, but one of my friends outside the NDL just cannot get away from dirt sheets. And no matter, I tell him every year, leave me alone from January 1st until the end of WrestleMania. Let me enjoy the road to WrestleMania. And he always tries to spoil stuff for me just because he needs someone to talk to. So he got blocked, and one of our friends kicked him out of the server until I think until the Rumble's over, so we can't spoil it for anybody else. Like, stop it.
You know why you talking, and as you talking, your boy might actually win it.
I'm gonna act a fool in live chat
You
if he
know
does.
that. Yeah, I'm not even. No, that ain't even hyping you up or gassing you up. Cause I'm thinking the Rumble winner is gonna face Punk and not Drew. And you can't make it automatic with the Vision motherfuckers. So why not?
Yeah. I'm I'm just trying like what NCX said is the perfect perfect thought. Can't look at those, ruins the immersion. That's how I feel. Throughout the rest of the year, I'm not as bothered by it, but if WrestleMania is going to be, you know, the showcase, let me
Oh yeah, we
enjoy
we
the
officially
road.
in wrestling season. We in
Yeah,
wrestling
like let
season.
me enjoy the build up and the road to WrestleMania without
Yeah,
planting
we,
seeds. Like it doesn't even have to be accurate. It's just don't plant seeds. Let me enjoy the ride. And I feel like as someone who's grew up, like I
yeah,
was listening to wrestling when I was in the womb. My parents are wrestling fans. I enjoyed wrestling so much as a kid. It's not because it was better. It's not because the roster was better, the storylines was better. Solely the main reason that I feel like I enjoyed it more as a kid is because I had to watch to know what happened. And I felt like I was on the ride as opposed to people trying to tell you what the end point is and seeing how you get there. Let me enjoy let me enjoy the ride. Don't tell me that there's going to be a dip here. Don't tell me that there's going to be a loop here. Let me just get on the ride and enjoy it for what it is. So much harder to do these days. Back when
I
we
ain't
were
gonna,
younger, it
I
was
ain't gonna,
much
I ain't gonna
easier.
lie. I love that I love the aspect of that back in the day. I don't like that shit no more. I like the fact that I can dip in and out. I'm not gonna dip in and out during this part because this is wrestling season. For me, once we get past, or once we get towards the Super Bowl and we had this dip in between, that week in between, this starts wrestling season. Wrestling season goes all the way to SummerSlam, and then that's when football season pick back up. But
Yep.
um, in between that, you have basketball and March Madness and start of baseball, But in between all that, from this week till SummerSlam, it's wrestling season. So
Hey, Rain says it too. Wrestling season, I'm about that life. All gas, no break.
yeah, I mean,
Well, we'll definitely be watching the Rumble for sure. And I wonder if we'll get a live chat party going. I'll be honest, I have a really ridiculous situation at work this week. It's so dumb. Like I've told you, and I think I've told a couple of people in the league just that I talked to in DMs, but I will be off tomorrow and I would be down to I'll be in the live chat probably talking about it. But if people don't want spoilers, I'm also down to come in voice chat, even if it's not actually talking in voice chat, if it's literally just the type, just away from live chat so people don't, have to run into spoilers. I know some people get upset that they can't watch it live, so they don't want anything said
oh yeah, because especially this time, because it's gonna be at
in the afternoon.
fucking in the afternoon and shit.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy way to finish because that's my favorite hobby. So I'm excited for the Rumble. I'm actually going to watch SmackDown as soon as we cut this because I haven't had a chance to watch SmackDown today. It's been a very interesting day. Um, but I can tell you guys, I know that we have, obviously we have a semifinal matchup and MC is enjoying himself, hopefully not too much so it doesn't potentially ruin his championship game. You know, moderation is the key, as they say. A rematch in the semis between Ohio State and Rutgers with Bama waiting in the finals. And then we still have some other bowl games to play. There are some other G5 matchups that I'm looking forward to. You've got Temple at Oklahoma State. I think that'll be a fun matchup. Tulane and UNLV, that'll be a fun matchup. The big one, I feel like you have like the two heavyweight battles in the G5. You had Fresno and Central Michigan, the other one, Southern Miss and Liberty. Oh, That should be a fun game too. Chop facing Minnesota. Some really good games out there. But we're going to start getting into the draft. So the draft isn't going to be until February 20th. I'm sure everyone is aware of that in chat. If you're not, and you hear this, the draft is going to start February 20th. That's day one. Day two will be on the 21st, of
When
Saturday,
the draft starting? One more time. One more time. When the draft starting?
February 20th.
There you go. There we go.
3 weeks. Andy did send out some feelers for a G5 tournament. So for those that want to get some games in, maybe you're looking at G5 teams. I don't know. An opportunity to play some games, go in there, draft a team, randomized bracket. They'll have some fun, some scrims. I'm sure that we'll have coach scores in a draft list well before the 20th, so people will have time in order to make an educated decision on what they want to do with their pick. And we're going to be here up until the draft. We'll kind of take draft week off because we won't be having a pod on Friday. We're having the show on Saturday. So try to get some visuals set up instead of just having, the pod style. Actually have a show and have some stuff for you guys to look at while the stream is up as we cover day two of the draft. But leading up to the draft, we're going to have some stuff to talk about. We'll try not to spoil anything because obviously, behind closed doors, people are having conversations. Hey, what teams are you looking at? Hey, you had this team. What do you think about this team? That gets back to someone else. Hey, someone's looking at this team. You know how it is. But we're just going to talk the draft in general, maybe some different approaches, maybe look at some things that happened in the last draft and see if there are some trends, last two drafts, if there's some trends that we can see that may happen going into this draft. Who knows? But we'll definitely be looking. Always excited to talk about the draft because to me, I can enjoy the games. I may not enjoy the games. It doesn't matter. I think the draft has always been my favorite aspect of the NDL. Like I can tell you, Vic, there's only two times, well, three times that I have kept the same team. I am a mercenary. So I'm just bouncing around. I am, you cannot trust me as a coach. I will leave you in a heartbeat.
I mean, this is
So,
this was my first ever season uh playing with the same team. Even though I've not been fired from any school, this was my first time going 2 seasons with a team. So
all right.
I
Well,
will be in the draft this season, though. I will be in the draft this season.
as will I, though I must say, Western Kentucky has a very enticing offer that they have sent me. Man, I want to accept it so bad, but I don't know if I want to go through with it. And you know, it's worth at least going into the draft and taking a look at what's out there to see if maybe there's a situation that may be better. We'll have to see, but there's definitely a lot to talk about with the draft. We just had an update today, yesterday, today, reflected on the game today with abilities being upgraded or in the case of Arch Manning, taken away. And it's right before the draft too. You're in the CFP, which may potentially impact the last two games that we have, but there's a lot to talk about. We'll be covering that over the next couple weeks. So on that note, we're going to sign off. Enjoy the Rumble. Good luck to Kemp and the Kennedy and the semi matchup. I'm pretty sure we're looking at sometime. Can't remember the time frame. I want to say MC doesn't get back until Monday. So I'm not sure what the time frame is of when the championship game will be back. I mean, first, you got to play the semi. But no, the games are due on the 6th. We've got time. We'll review the last of the bowl games next episode. Then we'll start talking draft. So we'll sign off for now. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.